This is Tim Rohr from the Utah Conservatory, and this is one of our Week 2 videos in our Music Theory for Composition course. Today, we're going to be talking about the staff and note names. So the first thing we're going to mention is our musical alphabet. In America and through some of Europe, we use a system of notation in which we assign different pitch levels, how high and how low pitches are, alphabet names. The higher the alphabet name, the higher the pitch. So we use A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and at that point we actually start over again at A, and what you would find is if you play one A and another A together, a different A, that they'd sound so close that we could call them both the same by the same letter. Now the center of our musical world is sort of the C major scale. It has no sharps and no flats in it, and we'll talk about what that means in a later video, but the C major scale is going to be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. And you'll notice again that we start over after we go one higher than G, we start over again at A. Now the way that we can write down our music to communicate with other people that play music and to be able to remember it later is using the staff. And the staff is actually a graph. It's a graph of how high and how low pitches are. Now this is a graph right here, and you can easily and quickly see from this graph how many apples or how many oranges each person has. And in a similar way, we can write notes on a staff, and that gives us how high and how low those pitches should be, so that anybody can come along and play that. This is our grand staff, which is what we'll be using primarily throughout this course. And we've got on this a treble clef and a bass clef. If you play piano, you know that the treble clef is the right hand notes and they're higher in pitch, and the bass clef are the left hand notes and they're lower in pitch. And there are a couple of other clefs that we won't really get into today, but there are the alto clef and the tenor clef, as well as some other clefs that indicate how high and how low the pitches be and where they should be. Now the notes can either be on the lines or the spaces, and they will actually follow the musical alphabet. If they go a little higher, then they're going to go higher up in the alphabet. So our first pitch right here is an A, and we've got B, a C, a D, an E, and so forth. Just the higher up on that we go, the further up in the alphabet we go. Again, starting over at A once we reach G. So here are some quick memory tricks to help you remember where those pitch names are. For the treble clef, if you go in between the lines on the spaces, we have F, A, C, and E, or the word face. And in bass clef, we have A, C, E, and G. And a quick little memory trick for that is all cows eat grass. Now for the lines, we've got different memory tricks for those. So we're dealing with the treble clef. We have E, G, B, D, and F. This is probably the most famous of these memory tricks, which is every good boy does fine. And for the bass clef, we have G, B, D, F, and A. And the little memory trick for this is good boys deserve fudge always. Now there are occasions in which sometimes we can't fit the notes, how high and how low they are within the lines and spaces that we've been given. And so in that instance we would actually use ledger lines. You can see from this little diagram up here, we've got the C that's below our staff or above our staff for our bass clef, and the B that's below the staff for a treble clef, and kind of you can see from this kind of where all of these notes lie. So if you ever find that you've run out of space on your clef but you want the pitch to be higher, this is how you would do it, is with ledger lines, and how you would read it as well. Now the last thing I wanted to show you in this video is the C major scale, which again is sort of the center of our musical world. And I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. I'm going to let each pitch play so you can hear what it sounds like. When you listen to that, you can hear how that just sort of sounds normal and natural. If we were to start on a different pitch, it would change the sound of it, make it sound less complete. And where we start and different things related to that is really what gives us the quality of sound in certain songs. So we'll talk about that in a later video. But for today, that is our staff and note names. I'd encourage you to really memorize where a lot of these are so that you can feel comfortable as we go throughout this course. A big way to do this is to interact with it. So anytime that you do an assignment, I'd encourage you both to put it in Noteflight, but also to do it handwritten on staff paper, as that will help really solidify where all of those notes are.